So in this video we are going to talk about the deal winner and how to set up or configure the deal winner. So we are on this main page after logging in into Plan Simba, and then when we go here, the next we see where a screen whereby we have the workflow. And as you notice here on this left navigation, we have different steps. So basically we have identified different web pages and different steps that we like to orchestrate in a sequence the way we wish. So if we want a landing page to be the first one in the list, we'll bring it up here. If you want something else to be, then you could drag and drop and take it up and move it up as you wish. Just, this is just a simulation right now. So in our scenario, the very first thing that we are going to do will be a landing page. So this landing page is the page whereby we have sent to our client an invitation to join us in a virtual meeting. And we're going to, in a separate different video, we're going to talk about the content of the landing page. But basically this landing page would have your intro video on the top. It may also have your services that you are offering to your clients. It may have testimonials by other clients. It may have your Google reviews. It may have other introductory things that can help build your trust with your client. So the intent here is to give something to your client to read about you and get more familiar about your processes, about your methods of doing things, so that when the meeting begins, then they are rightly framed, they are psychologically, mentally already predisposed, having seen your success stories, having seen your cases and other testimonials. So in this example, what we've done is we have set that landing page as the first page. Now, after the landing page is read through by the client, the next step would be the client at the time of appointment. So at the time of appointment, you would enable the client login dynamically, and you would press a button in your own setup, in your own configuration screen, whereby you would allow the client to move on to the auto login screen. Now this auto login screen would be able to log in the client after due diligence. They could log in very smoothly by using either Google, Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, Facebook, any type of social login. So either way, this is a critical part we have added in, just making sure that whoever is logging in the system is the one who they claim they are. So basically, you wanted to protect the privacy of the client, and you do not want any stranger just coming in with a link, pretending to be another person, and then logging in, and so just we have added this auto login process in the whole process, just to validate and verify who the person who's logging in, so that you could then identify them and then proceed accordingly. So having done the auto login, the next process would be the case analysis. This is where you are going to present the analysis of the case. You may be interactively asking questions from your client, showing them your observations, finding missed opportunities, finding areas that need changes, corrections, improvements, those type of things, right? And during this process, you are trying to identify the lost revenue, how much money the client has lost because of all the mistakes that have taken place in the past. What is it that you have found for them that is of value to them? Meaning you found some strategies or some ideas that could help them prevent overpayment of taxes. So while you're doing all this analysis, you're doing all the totals, you're writing down the amounts and all that thing that you have discovered for them. Now, please know that this case analysis is a real-time analysis that you're doing with a client. Actually, you have already come prepared. As a matter of fact, you would have already done your homework, you would have already ran scenarios, you would have already used a tax planning software of your choice. So you already have the numbers, you already have the calculations that you have already fed into the system in advance. Okay, so this case analysis is basically nothing else but a validation or a verification of what you've been able to find so far. Okay, so having gone through the interactive discussions with the client, you kind of finalize the final number or the amounts of either losses or the money that you're going to save them. So we're going to show you in a different screen how would that be displayed, but this is the purpose of this case analysis workflow or a series of screens. At the end of case analysis, you would move on to a summary, and in summary you would give them a summarized view of the mistakes or the errors that you identified, and in the process how much savings you are able to find them in the process. So those numbers, either losses or the money found, would be displayed in big bold words or letters as a reminder to the client, so that you could create an anchor, because with that anchoring or a reference point, when you move on to your proposal and subsequently to your pricing plans, the client is predisposed to accept what you're going to talk about in terms of your proposals and in terms of your prices. So the next screen that we have set up over here is called a proposal. It explains how you work, it gives them a summary, it tells them what you're going to do for them, scope of work, and all those things that typically go inside a proposal. We're going to talk more about each of these in subsequent videos. If you wanted to add additional pages to your proposals, you could do that. And in case the client agrees, this is the place where you would enable the client to move on to your next screen. So remember, during all these steps, each time the client wants to move on to the next screen, they need you to enable the next button. Okay? And during all this process, we have the AI Whisper switched on the side. We're going to have more videos on the AI Whisper, but basically AI Whisper would be running in a secret mode, giving you the feedback, giving you the tips, giving you additional hints on clients' questions, any types of arguments, any types of clarification those are needed. So the AI Whisper would be there to support you on that. So after you've gone through the proposal and if everything is working fine, you would probably move them to a engagement letter or a contract or an agreement that you want them to sign. You could have several templates that you would have previously pre-configured, and at the spur of the moment you could direct the user to move to a specific agreement that you want for them to sign. It could be just one single agreement that you had pre-set up, or it could be one of those few that you had set up previously, but at the last minute you decided to present one that you felt was the most appropriate. You see the dynamic aspect of the whole process, whereby you could change and modify the engagement letter before moving or allowing the client to move to the engagement letter stage. Once the client gets to the engagement letter stage, that's where they would do the digital signatures, and you could embed multi-factor authentication, MFA, if you choose to, during the e-signatures process. Next in line after the agreement would be the pricing plans, and in the pricing plans you could show them either one single pricing plan, or you could show them typically 3 different pricing plans, just like silver, gold, and platinum. And the user would then pick one of those pricing plans, whichever they feel comfortable, and this guided, orchestrated mechanism, workflow would move them automatically to the payments. So when you move to the payments, perhaps they would have already discussed with you the pricing on the pricing plans pages. And say you wanted them to pay $5,000 upfront and you had a monthly fee of say $500 a month. And the client says, well, I do not have all the $5,000 at the moment. Can I pay you in 2 installments or 3 installments? Or can I pay you $1,000 today and $4,000 perhaps 3rd of next month? So you could then, before allowing the user to move on to the payment screen, you could dynamically on the fly right there and then make changes to the payment screen, thereby facilitating and enabling the client to make the payment of mutually agreed installment plan or however you have agreed. And so from the payment screen, if they go through that successfully, they would automatically get the success confirmation, and that's where the plan winner or the deal winner workflow ends. But then some of you may also like to incorporate the next product that we have, which is onboarding automation. And in that context, one of the critical things or important things that you're looking for during the process of onboarding your clients is that you want to have the power of attorney forms signed. This is very common that one client may have to sign multiple power of attorney forms. There could be 1 or 2 federal IRS POAs like 8821, 2848. You could have them sign the State Department of Revenue power of attorney form. You could have them sign Department of Labor. They could be signing the local jurisdiction like city or county power of attorney forms. They could be having to sign IFTA if they're doing if they're a truck driver. So what we have done over there is we interview them once, and as a result of interview and filling up one single web form, we are generating multiple bunch of power of attorney forms as a result of just one single interview or one single submission of a web form. We're going to talk all about it in subsequent videos. I just wanted to give you an overview of how the steps have been set up over here in case of deal winner. So this deal winner workflow gives you an idea how to win deals virtually while interactively communicating with your clients, answering their questions, solving their problems, winning their hearts, and winning the deals. That's all for today. Take care.